All right, here we go. All right, what is happening, everyone? I think we are good. Let me see what we got. All right, so today we're gonna be having a little podcast recording with uh, with one of my stroke survivor friends from um, Second Chance Warriors, the group and the team that I'm on. Um, so yeah, we're just getting things started right now. Apologies for the apologies for the kind of slow start. No, I don't want to hear that. We're gonna go. All right. All right. We're gonna go ahead and lurk. Oops, mute. All right, mute. I don't want that. You're going to lurk. All right, there we go. I am lurking in One-Handed Machu's chat. So we are going to be recording a podcast for basically about stream survivors and kind of what we've gone through. So I'm ready to go whenever he is, and we will be talking here shortly. Let me see. Do you call me? All right. So anyway, I'm not going to be talking directly to chat while we're recording the podcast. But I do appreciate you guys hanging out and lurking, or feel free to chat, and then I will keep up with it and get back to everyone after. Yeah, we're good to go. All right, ready when you are. All right. But I appreciate you all being here and hanging out. This is day 3 of 3 streams in a row, 3 days in a row. That's crazy. I haven't done 3 days in a row in feels like years. Oh man, I was running late because I went to the farmers market this morning, and yeah, we were a little late. There's so much good stuff there. We were supposed to start about 20 minutes ago, but I was running late. Okay. Okay. You know what? Let's see if I can. Okay. One-Handed Machu is typing. Let's see what we got. All right.
You're welcome in. Hello, hello.
All right. Okay, it looks like One-Handed Machu is getting getting his audio situated.
Go ahead and
All right. Hey, that's me.
my bad. My bad. I had a second auto source. My bad. Right,
All good. So it looks like. Okay, sounds like he's calling me. Cool. Okay, here we go. Hello, hello.
Yo, welcome in, Jay. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Let me see if I can fix my camera real quick. Oh, that's why it's on the wrong one. Where are we at?
I had the exact same problem earlier.
I'm like, I know. I was just doing this. Like, Oh, I know why. Okay, I'll call you right back. All right, be right back.
All right.
Of course, I'm having issues. Because I should call from my streaming PC. Not my gaming PC. Because my streaming PC is the one that has the camera and the mic and stuff set up. Duh. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. I am working on it. I'd say I didn't get enough sleep, but no, I slept pretty good last night. Rarely. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to call. Okay, we're going to call. I'm ready.
All right.
Okay, there we are. You see me okay? No camera yet? Okay, I'm fixing it. There we are.
There, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
All right. What is happening?
All right.
Let me see.
Well,
one sec. Sorry, I want to see if I can get your video on my stream as well. So, hang tight. Let me fix this real quick.
No worries at all.
You can tell I haven't done a podcast like either ever or in a very long time. So.
Same here. Same here.
But all right.
Honestly.
Go ahead.
Honestly, like, what streamer does not have any pop?
Uh-oh. Okay.
Oh.
Speaking of. Okay, never mind. Sorry. I'll be right back. Dang. Okay. I guess I'm not going to have his video, but that's okay. That is okay. We will be fine. All right, I'm back. All right, I'm just not going to worry about having your video right now. I should have prepped earlier, and I didn't, so that's on me.
Trust me, I'm the same way, dude. Like, I was like, damn, I have to get this already.
Dude, you got quite the setup going on there, too, man. I like seeing the behind the scenes in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, this is really the only section I have in the apartment too I can be at, so it's all right. It works.
Good, man. Yeah, absolutely. So first off, how are you today? Thanks for letting me hang with you and be a part of the podcast.
Of course, man. Honestly, like, I really want to get as much oh my god, what the hell's it called? I want to get as much like word out there, word of mouth to everyone, because not everyone knows what to look for in a stroke. Like, not everyone knows there's no physical, like, you can't see it physically.
Well,
but you can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell just by the things you see, like the eyes, the speech, the face, the droopiness, the drops, all that stuff.
Oh, sorry. That's ironically enough, that is what sets me apart. Which, well, anyway, yes, it normally it does. I am fortunately / unfortunately one of those people where it's invisible. I gained all my muscle back. The only thing I have is right here is all numb. I can't feel the right side of my face or my eyeball, which makes it fun to wear contacts because I can't feel when I put them in.
I bet.
But other than like mental health and fatigue and stuff that you can't see, you can't tell. No one can tell that I've had a stroke, which
exactly
in itself is a problem because it gives me a lot of what's that word?
Anxiety.
Well, anxiety, but also it makes me feel like a faker. You know what I'm saying? Because like there are people that have aphasia, which that I didn't know about until I had my stroke and was in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And that's aphasias. I didn't know about that. And then and just all this stuff. So my journey is different, and I definitely have some imposter syndrome. That's the word. I definitely have some imposter syndrome just because my situation is different in a way that makes me feel like I'm not a true part of the community. And that's more in my own head, but it just is kind of where I'm at. So I'm happy to be a part of it. And I love helping people bring awareness to a lot of things, like I'm big on suicide awareness and mental health support and awareness, and the stroke, like that one, I had mine about 5.5 years ago. And ever since then, I'm like, you guys, I was 39. They're like, you should not have had a stroke. So it
Yeah,
was,
right, right.
like they're like, you are not the demographic, man. Like what? So and that was a wake up call. So anyway, I know we've got a lot to get into, and I don't want to like just start off and blurt it
Oh
all
no,
out.
no, no. That's fine. That is perfectly fine, man. That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about our experiences, like the things
Hmm.
we've been through, like,
Yeah.
and we just want to let everyone know, like,
Hmm.
hey, this could happen to you if
Oh
you
yeah,
know. It
absolutely.
doesn't matter, like, yeah, exactly. Like, it does not matter how healthy you can be. It
Hmm.
can happen at any given time, at any given moment to
Yeah.
anyone.
Well,
So
yeah, they call it what,
yeah,
the hidden killer or something like that, or the it's like some
yeah,
so there's some term.
silent killer, like
Yes.
a silent killer type.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like no one
exactly,
knows. It's
exactly.
everyone can it can happen to anyone at any time, and no one knows. And you just have
Yep.
to live with that, which is terrifying, especially after
It's
having one. Like before, you're like, oh, I'm young, and I'll deal with that when I'm in like my 60s or 70s or whatever. And then at
exactly,
39, it hits me,
exactly.
and I'm like, whoa, okay, wake up call. That's some reality right there.
Exactly, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I felt the same way because I had mine when I was 38,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
I was just like, what the hell just happened to me? Like, why
Yeah.
is my left side not working? I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I was just trying to like struggle on the ground, like just trying to get up. Like
Yeah.
my body was just not cooperating with me. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, what the hell?
It's scary. That
So
yeah, that's kind of
it is. It
yeah.
really, really is.
Mine hit overnight. It's funny. It was a Sunday night before Monday, and I was asleep. I had um like woken up kind of in a pool of sweat, like a fever, right? So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
something's not right. But you think fever, I'm like, oh well, I need rest, so I went back to sleep, which I learned later I shouldn't have done. Once I realized something
Oh,
was wrong. But hindsight is what it is. But then I woke up one time at like I'd say 7 or 8 a.m. and
yeah,
I could barely stand up. I was kind of like wobbly, and I was like, oh man,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I was like, oh man, that fever must be really bad, and I laid back down.
Oh
And, the
boy.
hospital was like, why did you? I was like, I didn't know. But then about an hour later, I got up and I had to lean against the wall,
Yeah.
like I was drunk, to get down to my wife to say, hey, I need help, you know. And then she basically she drove me. We didn't call an ambulance because I didn't really know I was having a stroke. Um,
Yeah.
and then we went down there, and I'm in line, and the guy's like, what are you here for? And I was like, I think I had a stroke. And he's like, get back here. What are you doing in line? It's like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
like
I don't know how this works. This wasn't supposed to
exactly.
happen. So yeah, it was definitely a wake up call, and it was scary for all of us. My family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
For sure, man. I totally understand where you're coming with them with that, man. Like
yeah,
it's a big scare for everyone. Like
yeah. It is.
especially like especially like if you have friends who you haven't seen for a very long time and they just hear about it, they're like, what?
Yeah,
This guy was the most healthy guy I've ever met. How did this happen? Like
yeah,
things like that.
yeah. I was not healthy. I did not live a healthy
Same
life.
here.
So I mean, I wouldn't say anyone has it coming or is deserving, because I would never wish that on anyone. But I definitely enjoyed, the things in life that did not help. Alcohol, food, fatty food, fried food.
Yeah.
Families from the south, so
Oh,
fried food is life.
yeah. No,
So
I know what
yeah,
you mean, man.
biscuits and gravy. It's like pure fat. Gravy is pure fat. And I grew up on that stuff. I didn't know that. I was just like, dude, it's the best thing ever. So, like, yeah, I didn't not do myself any favors. Um,
Oh man, I know. I hear you, man. Like
yeah,
these things can really just like happen to anyone, man. Like
yeah.
you can be just like you said, you were sleeping.
Hmm.
For me, I was coming home from work.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
Well,
just like
were you
literally
were you in the
like
car?
I wasn't okay. So I was coming home from work. Luckily, it did not happen while I was driving.
That's what I was. Yeah, because
It,
that's even scarier.
yeah,
Oh,
Exactly. I know. Yeah, I know someone that happened to like they were driving and they had a stroke on the road. Like
oh
that is
man.
scary
Oh
because
yeah.
you can't control it. You know, and
Yeah. Like
you
how?
get into the
What do you do?
accident, you're
Yeah.
done.
Oh, that actually, after I had my stroke, that is what scared me. That scared me a lot. I actually had like a phobia of driving for a while, just because I was like, if I lose
Yeah.
my right side again, um, I'm not going to be able to control the gas. I'm not going to be able to hit the brake no fast enough. Like I could hurt someone. And it definitely
Exactly.
makes you think and even overthink things that could happen. Um,
Yep.
but oh, back to mine though. So I did lose.
Yeah.
I did lose my whole right side. Like when it happened, when I was in the hospital. I was in
Mhm.
the hospital for about 2.5 or 3 weeks, and I was bedridden. I couldn't get up on my own. Originally, they thought I was going to need a wheelchair, and then as
Mhm.
my physical and occupational therapy started getting better, they noticed that I was recovering more than they expected. So they thought I was going to need a cane. And then by the end of 3 weeks, I was able to climb stairs again, and without a handrail. But it was slow, like not the same, but I could do it. And they're
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
like they're like, whoa, like that happened fast. Like we did not expect you to be able to recover like that. And I mean, in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
I didn't either. But I was bedridden. I didn't have my right side. Um, I originally I didn't have aphasia, but I had speech issues. Something happened. Something
Yeah.
changed in my throat to where it was like having laryngitis for 3 or 4 months. It was like I had to teach
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
throat how to make sound again, because like the way
Mhm.
I explain it is like half like the right side of my throat can't feel stuff, so it doesn't know whether it's working right or not. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
true, but that's kind of how I rationalize it in my head.
Oh, yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but it took me months to just be able to like make proper vocal sounds to talk, and that was weird. And my background, oddly enough, is I almost went to college for classical voice. Like I used to be a singer, and I used to take it very seriously. um,
Mhm.
and I kind of think back, like, wow, if I would have had my degree and made singing my life, if I had my stroke and my voice was my life, I don't know what would have happened. Because even as
Oh.
someone who isn't doing it professionally anymore, um, it the first time I ever sang in front of anyone after my stroke was last weekend, because
Oh,
because
wow.
it devastated me to like lose my singing voice. You know what I mean? Because I still can't. I'm at like maybe a quarter, a half of what I could do before, and for someone who's been singing their whole life, that's devastating. And if that was my moneymaker, or if that was what I actually like did go to school for and set my my future on, I honestly don't know how I would have handled that. It wouldn't have been good. So
Oh, that's for
yeah.
sure, man.
But again, it's they say you have to come to terms with the new you and embrace the new you, and I'm doing as good as I can.
No, I feel that, man. Like same here. Like I'm not the same person anymore. Like
Yeah. Hmm.
just like you, I never sung professionally. I just did it for fun because
Yeah.
I like it. I enjoyed it, and
Hmm. Yeah.
my speech therapist at the time, I
Yeah.
told her I love to sing, so
Hmm.
she told me to try and sing. But the
Okay.
only way I was able to sing was to read the lyrics because I could not put off of the top of my head at the
Okay,
time.
I got
Even
you.
though, yeah, even right now, like I still can't do that. I have to read the lyrics in order for me to sing.
I
But
got
even
you.
so, like, yeah, but even so, like, my singing voice is not there no more. It's not the same. It sounds so different because of my slurring. Like, it's all messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, so I totally understand where you're coming from. If you were
Hmm.
to do singing for the whole life, like,
Hmm.
I can see how that would definitely destroy you. Like,
Yeah. It.
and
Yeah. It was
damn,
it
man,
was
that's
definitely tough.
tough.
um Sorry, I had a what
No,
do you
no,
call
you're
it,
good.
in chat on Twitch. I had a bit of a, what do you call it, the people that talk smack. So I had to ban someone real quick because they're being a jerk.
No worries at all, man. Handle
Yeah.
what you gotta do,
Yeah.
bro.
It's like I'm not even gonna let you like be in this chat.
All right.
All
I'm not
right.
gonna let you heckle me, man.
Exactly, right? Well, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
My whole thing is like, no one has the empathy anymore, and that breaks my heart because there's so many people that like don't care about anyone,
exactly.
and that is like, dude, we all need each other, whether we like it or not.
Hmm.
Even if I don't know the person, like people need people. We can't survive by ourselves alone, letting everything just be
Exactly.
us. So anyway, that's a whole nother a whole nother
A whole other
thing to get
story.
into. It's a whole nother podcast.
No, no worries at all, man.
uh
Oh,
um
wow, dude, I
mhm,
guess crazy, man. Keep go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, but just like like things changed. I changed, my voice changed, my life changed. Um, I used to work in San Francisco at an ad agency. My commute was like an hour and 15 minutes each way. And
Yeah, yeah,
you're from the Bay. You know about BART. Okay, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. BART is like our, for the people that don't know, BART is like our subway system kind of thing. And I used
yeah,
to standing room only, going to the city on BART every day, 5 days a week, and at
yeah.
least 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back. And then I had my stroke right before COVID hit. So I was on disability. And then once I was off of disability, everyone was working from home. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, I don't have to commute anymore because commuting doesn't work for me anymore. I can't do the BART thing. Um,
Yeah.
and then they started having everyone come back to work. So about 2.5 years ago, I left. And that was hard because I actually haven't worked other than like freelance video or freelance tech support. I haven't really had a
Mhm.
solid job for 2.5 years. And, that put strain on me, just my mental health and like my life as like an individual that wants to feel um, needed or, important to some part of the world. Um,
Definitely.
work kind of checks off a lot of boxes when it comes to like mental health because you get to focus on something, get to feel good about it, hopefully. And if you work with great people, then you it's almost like you are rewarded for that. Um, but it's been hard for me. It's been hard for my wife. It's been hard for my son. Having me go into the hospital one person and essentially come out another. You know, that's that was tough. And even still, I apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not a sports dad. I'm sorry I can't like go around and I don't have like I can't go and play all the time like I used to, and I can't do this and that. And I mean, he's a preteen now, so he's like, whatever, let's play Destiny or Repo. He's been playing Repo with you guys.
Repo.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, I heard him. I was streaming yesterday, and I heard him in his room just going nuts, laughing his butt off, and I love that. He's got the best belly laugh, dude. So I'm in chat like playing the game, and I'm just laughing because I just hear him belly laughing. But yeah, but that's just it. Like so now it's fine. But over the last 5 years, it's been hard because, he'd want to like go do stuff, and I'm like, but I didn't want to get out of bed. It's still hard for me to just function. And and again, that ties into the imposter syndrome because like I uh I have recovered so much more than a lot of people, and I know how lucky I am. But at the same time, I can't change how it affected me mentally and
Yeah.
how I react to things. So, as much as I'm grateful that I have the ability to do what I can do still, um, I'm still sad, and I'm still mourning the person that I was. And even after 5 years, I mean that's going to be a forever thing. It's been 5.5 years, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever going to change. I try to make the best of everything, but it's just been a trip, man. It really has, and it life changing, like in good ways, but also in ways that you just would never have wanted for anyone. You know, so I will admit, my son is
Definitely.
the reason that at least I don't. He's not like the actual like on paper reason, but I swear I recovered as much as I did because of him. Because when I was in physical therapy and occupational therapy, he was, what was he? Yeah, he was like maybe 6 or 7, and he was doing the exercises with me. All right, Dad, put your foot here, put your foot here, do it like this, and he was like my motivation, and he was like my little like um influence. Like he made me want to just push harder and harder, and that I wouldn't be as far as I am without him. like 100%. So, you know, I love that dude. Obviously, you could tell when we're gaming together. Like, I mean, he's
Yeah.
my little mini me, dude. Like, he's my little best friend. But at the
That's
same
awesome,
time,
man.
yeah. But at the same time, I got to be a dad, so can't be his friend all the time.
Of course, of course. No, that makes sense. That really makes sense though. Like, I mean, honestly, for you to be able to spend time like that with your son, still, if
Yeah.
you're able to, like, that's still a very beautiful thing because our
Mhm.
our children will still need us
Yeah.
for anything, no matter what, no matter how old they get. Like, they'll
Mhm.
always
Yeah.
come, to you.
Daddy.
You know,
Yeah.
exactly,
Mommy. I know.
exactly.
I do that. I'm in my 40s. I'm like, Mom, this happened. She's like, come here, babe. Come here. There's like something about a parent's hug. Like, even if you're like a grown ass adult, like a parent's hug just always makes you feel better. It's just what it is. It's love, man. It's crazy.
Yep, yep, yep.
But but yeah. I mean, so I was going to go into this earlier, but I forgot. So ADHD. So here it is now.
All right.
They still don't know exactly why I had a stroke. Like I said, I wasn't the healthiest person, and I did have high blood pressure. But I went to the ER a few times, like over that first year, especially when I had it, and all of them were like, "That's not enough for you to have a stroke. Like, yes, you have this, and this could be, and this could be, but they're like, none of this means you should have had a stroke at 39." So the one thing that is the theory, my stroke was in January of 2020. And I don't know if
Mhm.
you're aware, but COVID was actually here. They just
Yeah.
didn't really talk about it or know about it in the grand scheme. And the ad agency I worked for did have international travel, and a
Uh-huh.
person at the ad agency had COVID like within a few weeks after I had my stroke. And a coworker's wife had a
Wow.
stroke that was almost exactly the same as mine. So there were just so many things that that lined up that they're like, it could have been COVID, because then they found out after the fact, like years later, that the original strain was the worst. It caused blood clots, and people were having strokes from it. And now it's been documented. But back then, no one even said the word COVID when I was in the hospital. No one even talked
Yeah.
about it because it wasn't
It was all new.
exactly, and it wasn't something that they were looking out for. So
Mhm.
which I'm grateful for, because had I had my stroke a month or two later, I wouldn't have had visitors. I wouldn't have had. I wouldn't have been able to interact with the people, the other stroke patients,
Mhm.
because of
Mhm.
COVID. Because everyone was quarantined from everyone, and I know people had to
Yeah.
go through that, and I feel like that breaks my heart, because to be going through that and to not be able to have that connection with anyone is would be devastating. So I'd like nothing but like love and support for people that had to deal with that, because being in the hospital for something big and long term during COVID, man, that wasn't fair, you know?
That's tough,
Hmm.
man. Big
Yeah.
time tough. Like, I can totally see like how everyone would be freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see them what to talk about. This is a hospital. I can be able to see my family. Like, let me in. Like,
Hmm. Yeah.
I remember like I remember one of my friends got caught COVID in the very beginning, and
Hmm.
his wife couldn't even go to see him. I'm like, damn, that's messed up, dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Exactly.
could totally. Yeah, so I could totally see how that affected you so much as well. Like, just being in a hospital during COVID, like
Yeah.
not being able to have any visitors or anything like that. I could totally understand. Like,
Yeah.
that sucks, man. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Like,
Yeah. It
oh my
was
God.
devastating. And I know people that did have to go to the hospital, not necessarily long term, but did have to go to the hospital, and like didn't wasn't able to have visitors, and like I said, that just broke my heart. So I know, it's hard to say. I know how lucky I was about having a stroke, but I kind of do know how lucky I was, first off, to have it and to be able to function. And even though I can't feel my face, the muscles still work, which surprised a lot of doctors.
Yeah.
Because by rights, like my muscles could have not worked, and I could have had, even though it wouldn't have been my whole body, I could have still had muscle issues in my face. And I've had Bell's
Yeah.
palsy before. So I know like what that feels like.
Wow.
And that, I had
Ouch.
when I was younger. Yeah, yeah. So, I know how lucky I am that I recovered, and I also know how lucky I am that it hit when it did, and
Yeah.
that it wasn't during COVID. Because if I wouldn't have been able to see my son or wife, I don't know if I would have recovered as much, because they really did make me want it more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you work harder when
Oh
you've got
yeah.
a kid right there that's like, "All right, Dad, you got this." Like, what are you gonna say? No, I don't. You're gonna be like, "Yeah, hell yeah, I do, bud. Let's go." Like they amp you up, man.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh, for real, dude. No, it's I yeah, I get that, dude. Like for myself, like when I was in the hospital, like I was living in Vegas at the time, so no families near
oh,
me.
okay, okay.
My brother and my sister had to fly out to actually see me.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they got the news, they were just devastated. Like, what the fuck happened? Like, how did
Yeah,
this happen to you? Like,
yeah.
just a bunch of stuff that just happened. Like overworking, not enough
Mm-hmm.
sleep, being
Yeah.
unhealthy, being
Mm-hmm.
overweight, high
Yep.
blood pressure. All of that just literally added all up
Yep.
and
Yep.
caused my stroke. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, I know exactly how you feel. Like
Mm-hmm.
not being able to have a family there, like they have to come from a very far distance just to see you, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, I am
Yeah.
so lucky to have that. So like they
Yeah.
really came out to me because like
Mm-hmm.
they were really worried about me,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm just like, I'm sorry guys, like I let this happen to myself. Like
Mm.
I could not believe I allowed this to happen. Like
Well,
I'm just laying in bed
yeah,
like the whole
yeah,
time. It's like,
yeah.
damn, dude.
No, I hear you. The thing is, you can't. All we all think that we're invincible until we're not. So like
Yep.
like I understand being like, oh, I'm sorry that I did this and I did this, but really you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for anyone out there, not just you specifically, like we don't
Yeah,
choose for
yeah.
this stuff to happen. We're not like we're not injecting blood clots into ourselves. You know what I mean? Like our body chooses
Exactly.
to do that, and we don't have control of that. Whether we're there are people that are 800 pounds that don't have strokes. And then there are bodybuilders and people that win marathons that have strokes in their 20s and 30s. So there's no
Yep.
rhyme or reason um, to you know how it happens really. So I understand, and I know a lot of people. It's hard not to beat yourself up because I wasn't healthy. I was overweight. I'm still overweight. I'm working on my weight right now. Like it feels like a forever thing. Um, and then
I feel that, man.
yeah, and then but high blood pressure, overweight. I drank too much, and I did all the stuff that like was fun, and I ate all the foods I wasn't supposed to eat, But you never think like, oh man, I better chill. I don't want to have a stroke. Like you don't think that.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
last thing.
Exactly.
I'm
No
dude.
one does.
Yeah, yeah. I'm invincible until you tell me otherwise.
Exactly. No, for real. That's how I felt too. Like I was like, nothing can phase me, man. I'm good. I'm good. I can
Yeah.
smoke all the weed I want, eat all the food I want. Like,
Hmm.
nope.
Yep.
Boom.
That's that Bay Area in you.
Yeah, exactly. You know how we do, man. You know how
Yeah,
we do
that's
it, man.
right. Got 5 on it. Um,
Exactly.
no, we that's a trip. That's fun. I love that you're from the Bay. Like I'm really
Yeah,
grateful that
man.
I connected with all of you. And I think it was Lancet that reached out.
Yeah.
But I'm
That's it.
super
Yeah.
yeah I'm super glad because like you know as someone in my 40s, I don't know a lot of stroke survivors my age or that are interested in the things I'm interested in. And
Same.
yeah,
Same.
so it's nice to have a group that can relate, and again, self-consciously, even though I feel like I shouldn't belong because of the fact that I still have ability to um like my leg and my arm and stuff, like I feel bad. It's weird to feel like, man, I wish it would have just been a little bit worse so I can not feel so bad, or so I can so people know that there's something that happened. That way they don't assume that I'm lazy or that I'm broke, like that there's something wrong that isn't medically caused. If that makes
Hmm.
sense. It's a
Yeah, yeah.
real crazy mind thing, you know.
It is.
And that's weird to be like, oh man, sometimes I wish it would have been worse. What? Why are you thinking that, brain? That's also ADHD. So
Yeah.
we always
Yeah.
think the
So,
worst.
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, actually, Lance just popped in. He said, "Fun fact: I started this group in Machi because of a lack of stroke support for younger people," which is very true. Like,
Yeah,
there is not enough. That's why I
yeah,
want to start this because
yeah,
no one knows about stroke.
yeah.
No one knows what to look for in a stroke.
Hmm.
Who knows? That
Yeah.
person could say someone else because they know what to look for. That's why
Correct.
we're
Yeah.
sharing our stories.
Fast.
To
You
let
gotta.
people know,
Yeah.
like to let people know, like,
Yeah.
yo, this shit can happen to anyone, like
Yeah.
literally
It can.
anyone, and you
Yeah.
could be the most healthiest person in the world. Like,
Yep.
you could be no drugs, no alcohol,
Yeah.
perfect sleep, perfect appetite, perfect weight, all that
Yeah.
shit,
Absolutely.
and it could still happen to you no matter
Oh
what.
yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
that's why, yeah, that's why I want to start this because not
Hmm.
everyone knows what to look for. Not everyone knows what to pay attention to if
I
someone is
know.
having a stroke, or they don't know what to do when someone is having a stroke. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, like when it happened to me, I had no idea. My roommate had no idea, so he called the ambulance right away.
Good. Okay. Good. Good. Good.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because like that's the one thing that's really important. Like, we only have a certain amount of time before
Hmm.
before we expire. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
every second counts.
Yeah.
Every second counts.
Yeah. That's so.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, well, just speaking on that, I that ties into the other stuff that I bring awareness
Yeah,
to, like with suicide and mental health support, because my background and my history is, and this is deep and TMI, so trigger warning for people, that have that are triggered by suicide talk. But my father and my stepfather both committed suicide. My father did when I was 9 months old. My stepfather did when I was 13. So, with the whole, you never know how long you got or like live life to the fullest. Since I was born, I've kind of had to do that because they chose to do what they did. But it doesn't mean it doesn't scare me to know that it can happen anytime, any place, anywhere. Right. So you have to try to live your life, to the fullest, the people, the places, the things, because you can't take it with you. Um,
yep.
but then you have a stroke and you're like, oh, I don't have the energy for that right now. So
Yeah, for
you know
real.
what
That's
I
how it was,
mean?
man.
Yeah, like I
That
just
really how it was.
it was like I laid down 12 hours a day and then I like was up eating and just trying to like exist for 4 hours, and then the rest of it was just me laying down like wishing I was asleep again, because it was just so like it was just a cycle of like, there's self-pity, there's insecurity, there's sadness, again there's loss and mourning of who you were and what you were,
Mhm.
like losing my voice and stuff. Um and and sometimes it's just hard to want to get out of bed. And even 5.5 years
Yeah.
later I have trouble, and it's I've been trying new medications. Like they've been trying new medications since my stroke, because I've had mental health issues my whole life. Probably because of, well, not probably, because of my dad, and my stepdad, but also genetically, I inherited quite a few things from my mom and my dad. Um, but I was on Prozac, and we had it dialed in since I was in my 20s, and it was great. It was perfect. Then I had my stroke, and Prozac stopped working. Lexapro didn't work. Cymbalta didn't work. Like none of them
Oh.
worked. And even to this day, I literally started new medication um, 5 days ago, 6 days ago, and it's the
Mhm.
first one that makes me feel almost like I can function normally again. And what's crazy is it's technically an antipsychotic. It's for people with bipolar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's called Abilify, I think, and it's the first
Okay.
one that's like made me be able to. I was telling my wife it's kind of kind of weird, and I guess as a dude, I guess kind of like embarrassing, but so Ariana Grande, I'm a big fan. She came out with this like short film, right? And it's kind of like these really, really beautiful, powerful songs, and it's a film that's beautifully done. and there's heartbreak and there's trauma and there's picking yourself up and all this stuff. I was bawling the first time I saw it. I'm talking, I couldn't compose myself. And she came downstairs, and I kind of was like looking away, like, trying to put it off. And I was just like, whatever. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I told her, I was like, I don't know why I'm crying so much right now, and I was like, I don't know. I can't control it. It's never been like this, and it was weird because I'm noticing that I have lows again and sadness, but I'm also having highs
Yeah.
again. And that's what a lot of antidepressants do is they make you kind of numb. So you exist in the middle.
Mhm.
You don't have the highs, you don't have the lows, you just kind of exist. And the one I'm on
Yeah.
now is like, whoa, like I'm feeling stuff that I haven't felt in decades, and it's but again, it's the first time that my body is like reacting this way. Like, hey, we're almost normal again. Like we might be able to do
Yeah.
this. But still 5.5 years later, it's like come on, dude. Like I wanna exist. I wanna feel whatever normal can be now. I know it's not gonna be what it was, but like 5.5 years, I feel like it's long enough.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
man.
You're just hoping for the best. You're just
Exactly.
hoping for the best.
Always. Yeah.
Yep. And that's
Yeah.
all we can really do, man.
Yeah.
We just gotta keep trucking, man. We gotta keep trucking on, man. That's
And
all we can really do.
well, and be there for each other too. Now that I know you guys and we game, dude, I'm that repo. That is the funnest. That was the funnest stream I think I've ever had. Seriously,
I
I've
think
never,
so
yeah,
too.
I've never laughed that hard. Me and my son have never laughed that hard together. Um, and it's fun being a troll. Like how I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna leave everyone, or I wish I could throw something and be like, hey, he's right here, come and get him,
I know,
make
right?
noise. And I mean that's like a jerk, but that's also funny, and that's just it. Like I hadn't had that much fun gaming or streaming. I don't know if ever,
Mhm.
to be honest, and that's pretty cool, especially coming from a group that where we have so much. I mean, I'd say trauma, but it's just medical. Um, the word, just where we have more on our plate than kind of regular. I don't want to say regular people, but people that haven't gone through a stroke or haven't gone through something this life
Yeah.
changing. To be in a group with people that share this, and also to be able to have as much fun as we had, and be able to be there for each other and lift each other up, and be able to just enjoy life together, even if it's
Yep.
just for a little bit. We don't have to pay attention to the bad stuff that we went through, that we are going through, and that's powerful,
Exactly.
and again, I'm super grateful that I linked up with you guys.
Oh yeah, man. Honestly, like I'm very happy that we decided to start this Discord because
Mm-hmm.
we're just thinking like there's got to be more of us out there
Mm-hmm.
somewhere.
Absolutely.
So so we started to we just started it, and
Yeah.
from there we would just start inviting people in, and it's been awesome.
Yeah. I agree. I'm grateful. I'm happy.
Yep.
It's also nice to be able to talk about all this stuff because
Oh yeah.
there aren't a lot of people.
Oh, give me. Yep. I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second. I
Oh
gotta
yeah.
open the door real
Oh
quick.
yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No problem. No problem. Let's see if I have any other trolls in chat. I don't think so. I saw Term Fun 2020. I saw you earlier. What's happening? I appreciate you being here. Hmm. Don't know if you're still here, but what's happening? Sorry, I'm looking at my streaming PC screen, which is over here. So that's why I keep looking over here. I've got my streaming PC right here. All right. All right. Okay, good. Good.
I got you. I got you. All right, my bad.
No, no,
I'm
no.
back, everyone.
No, you're good. I mean, well, yeah, I forgot you're
All right.
streaming too. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Forgot there's not just me.
Yep.
um, no, that's cool. That's cool. I will. You know what? Like I said, was kind of a trip was learning about aphasia when I was in the hospital. Um,
Yeah.
when I was there, I went to the luckily here in the Bay Area we have John Muir and we have Kaiser, but I was with John Muir
Mhm.
and they have a specialty like stroke recovery kind of center area at their Walnut Creek
All
facility,
right.
and it's it was weird being the youngest person there. You know, like I
Yeah.
was there, and there were definitely other people there with me, but there was easily a 20 to 30 year age gap between everyone, like me and everyone.
Hmm.
Um, and there was a gentleman, and the thing that sucks is COVID hit, so I wasn't able to really like keep in touch with everyone, which makes me sad because like I wanted them to like I wanted to kind of stay in their lives, just kind of like as
Yeah.
support, but also as like support for myself too. Like, hey, we went through this thing together, you know. And then everything just kind of went to hell with COVID, and I wanted to volunteer there, and I haven't even been able to. I haven't gone down there since COVID, so it's like
Damn.
it's a whole thing. But there was a gentleman in there with aphasia, and he, you know, an older gentleman, and it was it was eye opening when he was trying to like talk to us because we had like little group sessions where we would talk to each other and tell each other how we're feeling and kind of what's going on and you know try to like
Yeah.
lift each other up, but also the doctors were trying to kind of figure out what was going on if there was anything else happening. um
Hmm.
and he was sitting there and you know it took him 3 or 4 minutes to figure out how to explain the word Safeway, the grocery store, because he couldn't say the word
Yeah.
Safeway, and it was and he was getting super frustrated and super like irritated, and I can imagine how hard that would be. I was freaking out just
Oh
having
yeah.
laryngitis, you know. But that's like I said, that's when I learned like firsthand about aphasia and just how devastating that could be. And he was a he was a cool guy. Like that's what's crazy is like I enjoyed the people that I was in there with. Like we had, you know, weren't like going crazy or anything, but they were super nice, super fun. I mean, we all tried to keep you know keep each other up. I'm a goofball, so they you know I tried to make them laugh and not focus on you know all this stuff going on. And I really do
Mhm.
wish that that I would have kept contact because you know you don't go through stuff like that with other people very often. So
Exactly. Exactly.
mhm.
No, that totally makes sense, man. Like, I wish I could have kept in contact with the people I met, like the other stroke survivors that I've met in the hospital. But
Yeah,
the only ones I kept in contact with was my therapist
okay,
because she gave me 100%. I gave her 110 every
good,
single session, man,
good.
because I really want to get the hell out of the hospital, man. I really want
Yeah.
to get out.
Oh no, I know. Trust me, I know. Dude, there's nothing worse than having the like fall risk sensor on the bed and just knowing like I can't even roll over and go pee, bro. Like
I know.
oh yeah, like just I don't even want to get into the stuff I couldn't do by myself. But, you know, it's it's you want out of there as fast as you can because you just want to be like, okay, I'm done. I get it. This happened. This hit me. Let me just be at the end of it. Do I really have to do all this work? I just want to go. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
so because
exactly.
it's so it just it makes you realize how human you are and how vulnerable you are, and no one wants that.
Yep. Exactly. No one wants this, dude. No
Yeah,
one does. Like,
yeah,
and it's just like, man, if it does hit you, you're
yeah,
just like
yeah,
mind blown, like confused.
yeah.
Like I was confused when it happened. Like I was like, what the hell just happened? Like what?
Well, yeah,
You
I
know?
didn't.
And it's just
Yeah,
like
I didn't know it was a stroke. My wife didn't know it was a stroke. You know, and we found out
exactly.
like, and I didn't even really know it was a stroke until the I did an MRI, and then they had to do a CT scan, and in the CT scan they found a 5 millimeter blood clot on the left side of my brainstem, and I'm like,
Ooh.
how'd that get there? No,
How did I get that?
but no, it's like you know I had a stroke. Are you what? You know, and I didn't even really know the differences between like what's it called isometric or something. Yeah, yeah,
ischemic, yeah,
yeah. The
ischemic,
different types
yeah.
of strokes, the bleeds or the clots and stuff like that, and just coming to terms with just what that means to your brain. It's
Yeah.
But again, that makes me thankful for you all. So again, thank you for letting me be a part of the crew.
Of course, man, of course. I mean, again, there's always going to be someone out there who's just like us,
Yeah,
who needs someone to, someone to relate to.
yeah, yeah.
And like, I've just been thinking about this myself. I'm just like, okay, I'm one person,
Yeah.
but what happens if I get 40 people who had the same thing like me,
Mm-hmm.
and we all shared our stories? Like,
Yeah.
everyone will start listening, and they'll be like, okay, let's
Mm-hmm.
take a note of this, let's take a note of that,
Yeah.
let's not do this, let's not do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
when we start sharing our experiences on how this happened, and
Mm-hmm.
people will start to think like, oh shit, okay, so this is what I
Yeah.
have to look out
I
for.
better be
Okay, this is
careful.
what
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like, if this is what I'm gonna feel, that I have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, just these little precautions that they can learn from us
Yeah.
to prevent them from getting a stroke. That's why, like, I
Mhm.
felt like this is very important for everyone to hear. Like,
Yeah. It
even
is.
if no, even if yeah, exactly. Like, even if we don't have a lot of viewers, at least the ones who are tuned in will
Mm-hmm.
know.
Well.
And they
Yeah.
will have a better chance. They will have
Yeah.
a better chance at
Mm-hmm.
either surviving or
Yeah.
doing something about it for someone before they have it.
Yeah.
No.
What's Well, first off, there's power, right? There's power in um, community, right? It's kind of the whole thing
Yep.
why protests work, right? Like you get a bunch of people who feel the same way about something, or a bunch of people that went through something, and
Yep.
there's power in community. So
Hmm.
like, absolutely, yes, 100%. Second, I don't only stream to Twitch, but I stream to YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Even though I'm not doing TikTok right now, but
Hmm.
that said, this video lives forever. So I mean, whether we
Yep.
have two people watching right now, or in 2 years we hit 100,000 people randomly, or somehow someone finds our thing and shares it somewhere, like the internet's
Hmm.
forever. So I mean, just sitting here
Exactly.
talking about it and being honest and open and genuine, like the same thing, there's power in that, and it could
Yep.
be today, it could be in a year, it could be in 100 years. This video is going to help someone. So, I'm
Exactly.
very glad that you chose to do this.
Yeah. Like, again, like I'm just thinking to myself, okay, I had a stroke.
Yeah.
What can I do to help other people
Mm-hmm.
to prevent it, or what kind of measures they can take to when it happens? Like,
Yeah.
that's why, like, I really want to share my experiences with people so that they
Mm-hmm.
know what to look for, or they know what to do when it happens, or
Yeah.
they know what to do when it actually happens. Like, how recovery will go, like what you will
Yeah.
be doing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I try to record a lot of stuff that I do for myself, like physical therapy,
Mm-hmm.
occupational therapy, or the things that I do on a daily basis with just one
Mm-hmm.
hand. Like,
Yeah.
I want to
Mm-hmm.
tell people, like, hey, even though I'm one-handed, does not mean I can't do shit.
Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
I have to
Yeah.
do is I just have to adapt, and I
Yeah.
have. Like,
Yeah.
it took time. It took time for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but
You
I
did.
was I
Yeah.
managed to get it.
Well, you
You
did what
know
you
what
have
I'm
to
saying?
do. Well, because you got to live,
Exactly.
right? Like no matter what you do.
Exactly.
I
We
mean,
have to live.
this is extreme, right? And I apologize for anyone that this has happened to, but you can cut off my leg, both legs. I'm still going to have to learn how to live. I'm still going to have to learn how to survive. I'm still going to have to learn how to make it to tomorrow, right? So,
Exactly.
and that's,
Exactly.
some people give up, which, is like I was talking about earlier, and some people take the challenge, and that takes real strength. That not workout pumping, benching 800 pounds. No, that takes real internal work, mental work,
Yeah.
physical work, like your heart, your everything, your emotions, like
Everything of you,
every
yeah.
single part of you has to work so hard to get past that next, to get to that next level, that next step. And just, even if you're, like when I was in the hospital and I couldn't walk, every little bit where, I was able to like take a step. Huh. Okay. And then you're like, okay, what next? Because you're never really like, you're never done. We're always recovering. We're always
Exactly.
growing. We're always working to be better than what we are or were. Um,
Yep.
so it's, there's real power and strength in that as well. So it's amazing. Like I didn't realize how amazing people like you and Lance and um, Kira and just everyone. I can't think of everyone's names. I'm sorry. I would say them if I could.
That's okay. No worries. No worries.
but I like this group and these people, they're the ones that are strong. You guys are strong. You guys embody strength, right? It's not lifting weights. It's not how far you can run or how like manly you are. Nah, like the strength to make it to tomorrow after going through something so traumatic, the strongest thing anyone can ever do, and not everyone can do it. So I mean,
Exactly.
it just,
Exactly, man.
there's a there's a lot more to what we have all gone through than just having a stroke. Like
Yep.
there's
Exactly.
so much more going on. So like bringing awareness, 100%. And like I was saying earlier, I also try to be a mental health advocate and so suicide awareness and suicide prevention advocate, and that's hard. Being someone that can talk about stuff like this, or that can be accountable or humble or genuine about what they're feeling and what's going on. Even though, like I've said my whole life that I am or want to be, but um, an advocate for mental health and suicide awareness, I've only done one volunteer activity with the AFSP, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I
Hmm.
volunteered for one of their walks in San Francisco. And this is something that has been a part of my life my whole life, right? Like my father died when I was 9 months old. So you'd think
Hmm.
from when I could talk until now that I would be an advocate and that I would try to help people. And of course I want to, like my heart is in it, but it's so hard to face the stuff that it's hard to face the stuff that hurts, right? And that's the
Yep. Yep.
stroke. That's the losing people. That there's so much. So I've only really had the strength to do it once, volunteer, and it's something that I wish I had the strength to do like every time. I want to help people like every day if I can, but people don't realize how hard it is. You know what I mean? Like it's very hard just to even do this, just to sit and talk about this stuff. I mean, I don't care how far someone has come or how long it's been. Talking about stuff that broke you is not easy to do. I don't care. It could be
Yes.
20 years down the
Very
line.
true.
Yeah, 20 years down the line, dude. And this isn't meant to like bring people's mental health down, so I apologize. But we're broken. We got broken, right? And we had to find whatever pieces we could to put back together whatever we could to just exist and make it to tomorrow. And sometimes you can barely do that. So having the strength to face something that hurts you and talk about it and bring awareness to it and try to help people. I mean, you guys, the group, this, Second Chance Warriors, um, man, you guys are doing God's work because, this is all stuff I wish I had the strength to do daily. Um, and, it's something that I can't say how much I appreciate, right? Like people that like you that want to bring awareness, that want to help people. Like I can't thank you guys enough because it's something I wish I had the strength to do every day. So I admire people like you and people that do the work. You know.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, and also, like, how you're saying, little, like, how we are strong to do this is
Mm-hmm.
our resolve.
Mm-hmm.
Our resolve gives us strength to push and gain back what we lost. Like
Mhm.
for me in the beginning, like I had no energy to do anything. Like
Mhm.
I would literally be sleeping for about 18
Mhm.
hours a day, and
Yeah.
just to get up for just for a meal, to take my
Yeah.
meds and go back to sleep.
Mhm.
Nowadays,
Mhm.
I wake up, I have a plan.
Good.
All right, Matt,
Yeah.
this is what you're gonna do today. You're
Mhm.
gonna clean, and then you go to gym,
Mhm.
do your stretches, do your therapy,
Yeah.
and then do whatever you want for the rest of the day.
Mhm.
Now I try to keep on that because like
Mhm.
if I don't, I just feel like I'm not doing anything that day. Like,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
don't want to be like this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I would love to regain at least 90% of my body.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've already accepted that I will never be 100%. I've already accepted that.
Mhm.
If I can get away with 85, 90%, I would be happy.
Yeah.
I'll be damn happy for that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's something I told myself.
Mhm.
If I never regain my left hand back,
Mhm.
I would be perfectly fine with that because I fully adapted to life one-handed. Like
Yeah.
everything I do every day,
Yeah.
I do like because I had to do it. Now, cooking every
Mhm.
day, I cook
Yep.
every day for my brother and I because
Mhm.
he doesn't know how to cook. I have all the experience. I've been cooking
Brothers.
for my
Um
whole life. I've been cooking, so
I can
he's
relate.
lucky. Yeah, so my brother's lucky. He has a own personal chef to cook for him
Oh
every day.
man. Okay.
But
Dang, I'm
you know
coming
what I'm
over
saying?
there.
Like,
Yeah.
but even so, like, I feel like after my stroke, like I feel like my skill at cooking has gotten progressively better. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know how I can explain this, but I just feel like now, even though
Mhm.
I'm being challenged to do all the stuff that I love to do. Like, I find myself better. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Like, why couldn't I do this with both hands?
Right? Well,
You know?
first off, you are you find you learn to appreciate what you can do, right? And then secondly, it is something that helps take the focus off what hurt you. So it makes total
Exactly.
sense because it's like
Yep.
I'm the opposite in the sense that for the last 5.5 years, I've wanted to melt into the floor. Like I've wanted to just not, and this is extreme. And I say not exist, but not like my father and stepfather. I just mean in general. Like for 5.5 years, I've just been numb and just been like, whatever. I
Yeah.
should work out every day. I've got an exercise bike. I have a home gym. Like I have my like weight set and everything. And I know I should be working harder. And I know people do work harder than me. There's, there's this guy on Instagram. Let me see if I can find him cuz like
All right.
he's dope and he's just super real and super like he takes you through his workouts and he goes on walks and all this stuff and it's all stuff that I
Yeah.
know I should do. So I really admire people like you that say this is what I'm going to do and do it because I should have the energy, but I don't. But I'm working on it. I'm still working
No,
on
that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly
it.
fine, man. Because honestly, like our energy levels as a stroke survivor, like
Yeah,
it's either been cut in half or cut drastically, like
yeah,
all the way down to like
yeah,
possibly 0 to 10%. Like
yep,
that's how I feel. Like that's how I feel about my social battery. Like
yeah,
if I don't have no social battery, I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna stay home.
yeah. Oh man, I used to be a super extrovert. Like I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'll have to find his info later because I can't even think of like how to search for it right now. But
Yeah. Yeah.
there are people that I follow online that I'm like, man, they got it. Like they're doing it right. Like they're doing what I wish I had the energy to do, you know?
Hmm.
Um but oh crap, what were we just saying? The thing right before you just said something before I said that. And I had something to say and now I forget. ADHD.
No.
Um
Don't feel bad, dude. I know exactly what you mean. It's
oh,
okay. It's okay.
too funny.
It'll come back to you. It
Yeah,
will come back to you,
eventually.
though, for sure.
Eventually. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we can keep going on. I'm sure it'll come back. We'll come back around to it.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So after your stroke, like
Mm-hmm.
I know that for sure your quality of life has changed
Yeah.
for damn sure.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Like especially now, like going back to streaming, like
Mm-hmm.
doing what you're normally used to doing before that.
Yeah.
How do you feel coming back to it as a stroke survivor now? How do you feel doing it now?
So there are a couple of ways, right? Like there's the good and there's the bad and there's the sad. And
Of
it's
course.
not just streaming. It's also so one kind of caveat is the reason I not only because of my stroke, but but also ADHD and the inability to initiate, right? Like what they call it
Mhm.
there's some like term for it where it's like you can't take that first step. You can't.
Initiative.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, but that's a reason too. And I will admit that since my stroke, I feel like either my ADHD has gotten worse or the medications that used to work on me helped with it and they aren't now
Mhm.
because I'm on different meds. I don't really know how to
Yeah.
explain it. Um, so that's hard. But so that being said, like not doing things like streaming, that would be one I would attribute to ADHD as much as the stroke, and energy levels. But the one I will say is the singing. So last weekend, a friend of mine, one of my best friends. He's actually the reason I met my wife. He was the first person outside of our immediate family that knew we were pregnant and having a baby. Like he
Mhm.
means the world to me and my family. He lost his mom, and she well, she was half black and half Filipino, so he's three-quarter black, a quarter Filipino, and they love Hawaii, loved Hawaii. So they had an ukulele band there playing and singing and all this stuff, and he and I used to sing together. And my wife plays ukulele, so he was like, "Do you think your wife would want to play the uke?" And I was like, "For you, she'll do anything, bro." And then it ended up being a family thing, right? And I have not I since my stroke and since I lost my singing voice, even though I can still sing, it's not like it used to be, and that hurts. But for the last 5.5 years, I'd never sang in front of anyone, and I wasn't planning on it. I was like, I'd basically like, nah, like I'll sing to myself, I'll sing in the shower or whatever. But I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because it hurt so much that I was like, I'm just not gonna do this anymore because I don't want to try and then hit that wall again and then be devastated again, right? Like it's like the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again, right? Thinking that it's going to change or something like that.
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep, yep.
so, but it ended up being a family thing. So my wife, my son, and I just sang the "I Lava You" song from Pixar. The
Ah,
yeah,
nice,
and
nice.
and my buddy was so grateful, and him and his wife like were like in tears, and he was like, my mom would have loved this so much from you, and and it was meaningful. And my wife pulled his wife aside and was like, this is the first time he's sang in front of anyone in over 5 years. So she was just like, this is more of a big deal than I think you guys understand. And if it wasn't you two, he probably wouldn't have done it. But it did kind of help me get over a hurdle, um, because I was self-conscious and I wasn't planning on doing it, but I did it, and it wasn't as horrible as my brain told me it could be.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
kind of helped me get over that hurdle. um, but doing things after my stroke is different. Walking is different, running is different. I actually don't run or play sports anymore, and it's not because I can't, it's because it feels different. I remember when I was doing physical therapy, and I had just gotten the ability to like get my full like movements and stuff back. I was working with a physical therapist, and she was like, your leg is great, your gait is great, blah blah blah, like, and I was just like, yeah, but when I run, my foot doesn't land where I think it's gonna land, or when I run, my
Mhm.
foot, I don't think I'm gonna make it right. Like my foot doesn't feel like it's going to where it's supposed to go. and she basically
Yeah.
pointed at like a hallway in their facility and said, "Okay, go run that line." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Go run that line.
Oh, run that line.
Run your ass off. Go get on that line and run the line and do it for real. Don't think, don't second guess yourself. Don't overthink. Just run." So I got on there and I ran, and she goes, "Your gait's perfect. Your feet land where they're supposed to land. You just can't tell anymore because it feels like they're not landing in the right place. So your brain is saying land here, and your body is saying okay, but there's a disconnect because it doesn't feel the same. The connections are different, right? So it feels different from how you used to feel when you ran." She goes, "But you can run," but I still don't, because
No, I feel that.
because it still feels weird.
No, it's
Yeah.
understandable. It's totally understandable, man.
Yeah.
Like I get that. Like even for me, just walking, like sometimes, like just walking, I will feel like I'm gonna misstep or tip over, like forward, until like I catch myself and notice what I'm doing wrong. And it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
there's so many times. There were so many times that I could have face planted, like straight up.
I have
Yeah.
face planted straight up. And that's another thing too, is I learned my limits. Okay. And this is kind of a fun story, even though the falling part sucked.
Yeah.
During COVID, right? None of us did anything. We were indoors. We didn't socialize. We had like a bubble of like 4 other people, and then that was it. But we saved a bunch of money because we didn't go out and do stuff.
Yeah.
We all were working from home, so we could go places, but we couldn't go to enclosed places, right? So then we get the bright idea that's like, hey, we go to Disney a lot. Why don't we get season passes? So for like 3 or 4 years, we had Disney season passes because we weren't doing anything else. We weren't going on vacations. We weren't going out doing anything. So it was kind of it was our way of trying to go back to being in some kind of normalcy.
Yeah, definitely.
But I learned my limits. So after 2 full days of Disney walking, right, which I'm talking like 100,000 steps or something crazy. Like it was ridiculous how much walking we do.
Wow.
It wasn't really 100,000. I don't know how much it was, but it was so much that my leg did miss. And that's how I found out my limit, which is it's a big limit. Like I found I can do a lot more than I thought I could, but
Yeah.
it was right at the entrance on our way out. You look up and there's the train station, the stairs in the train station, and I missed the curb. I was going off the curb to go down on the street, and I missed. And my brain literally said, and I have one of those brains where it's a voice. I don't see pictures. I hear like a voice. My voice.
You hear it.
He basically was like, "Dude, lean into it because you're not going to catch yourself." And it was like slow motion, and I literally just went. Leaned right into it, and I hit hard, and I was just like, okay, lesson learned. And I technically the only place, and it was like right in the middle of like everyone, and I was like, oh, so embarrassing. But Disneyland and is the only place I've fallen, and I fell twice. And I know what that feels like, and that's, it sucks. It sucks to be like, okay,
it does suck.
I do have a limit. Crap.
Yeah, dude. I know what you mean, man. Like, falling as a stroke survivor fucking sucks, man. Like, I had 2 falls myself after I got out of hospital.
Okay.
And both of them were literally going to the bathroom.
Yeah. You're like, come on. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so the first time I fell, I was walking to the bathroom, but my left foot hit my right leg. So I fell over.
Yeah.
My brother heard it. My sister heard it. They both ran to me. They're like, "Oh my god, what happened to you? Why are you on the ground?" Like, I fell.
Man, yeah. That sucks. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how it is, though.
It happens.
It does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, it happened, but we can go back and laugh about it because we're the ones who did it. We're just looking back and just like.
Well, not only that, we know what we went through to get to that point. So we're like, dude, I've been through worse. Like, I fell, whatever.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because I've had worse happen. Now this happened because of the worst, but okay, if I fell,
right?
I can get up.
Right?
I
It
can get up.
happened.
I can.
Yeah.
I can. Okay, we're good. I didn't break anything. So, but
Right.
yeah,
That's always the best part, man.
yeah. Oh man, I was worried when we hit the ground at Disney. I'm glad I told myself to lean into it, and not to catch myself, because if I would have done this, I think I would have like hurt my wrists or my elbows, because
Oh yeah.
I fell hard, like harder than I think I've ever fallen in that way, right? Like I've fallen playing sports, or playing basketball and fall or hurt your ankle or whatever, but like
Yeah, yeah.
I've not face planted like that. I don't think ever. So I'm glad my brain was like, bro, and it literally was like, it felt like that. It was like, bro, just lean into it. Just lean into it.
Yeah.
You'll be it's just better off. Just lean in. And I hit
I was telling you.
and I hit the ground, and I'm just like, and then I didn't even care that I fell. I had in fact, hold on, let me get it. It's so funny that I have to show you. Hold on.
No, you're good. You're good. Yo, everyone, I really appreciate all you guys being here with me today, because this is like another good episode that don't want to miss.
Sorry, everyone. I know I'm a talker. I tend to babble and not have an off switch. So
You're good.
I hope you.
You are
Yeah.
good,
Hey,
man.
you wanted a podcast. You got a podcast, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So, Star Wars holocrons. Okay. I don't know if you're into Star
Ooh.
Wars or whatnot, but these are like, there's a Sith holocron and there's a Jedi holocron, and they like make sounds, right? And they have like, oh, the batteries are dead. Okay. But they make sounds, and you put them together, and if the two of them are together, they make a super special sound, and it's crazy. So I had these.
Nice.
I had just bought these, and I was more worried that I broke these than I was about my own body. Because I hit and I felt these hit, and I was like, I hope I didn't break the holocrons. And I'm laying there, and my shoulder could have been hurt. I didn't care. I was like, the holocrons, no.
Oh man,
priorities, right?
right.
But again, we can laugh at ourselves, so it's good.
Exactly. We have that right. We
Yes.
have that right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's
Oh, man.
it's been ups and downs for sure, but you roll with it. It's like waves.
Exactly. And man, just being able to hear someone else's experience to all this is like it's eye opening.
Mhm.
Literally eye opening for anyone, even though you're a stroke survivor. It could be eye opening for anyone.
Absolutely.
Because anyone's stroke is not the same. Everyone is different.
Hmm.
So for me to hear your story,
Mhm.
for me to hear someone else's story, I'm just like, wow, it's completely different from mine, like straight up. And
Hmm.
I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
all these different stories, man. Like, I never thought it was possible. And I'm just like, wow, dude, wow,
Yeah.
fucking wow.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, and,
I can understand 100%.
Yep. Don't mind the person in.
What's that?
Don't mind the person in
Oh.
the mirror. Marlon, don't pull down, Marlon. Don't pull down. Go in the bathroom. Yeah.
Dude, my brother did that once while my wife was in a work meeting. And he just walked by her like with like no shirt on and a towel. And she was like, "Sorry."
You didn't know.
That's so
Oh
funny.
man, that is like it happened before, but
Yeah.
I've been trying to be very adamant about being on top of it.
Oh yeah, you get banned, man. You gotta be careful.
Exactly.
That's why we have a house and I have an office. My wife has an office, and then obviously our bedrooms. And Sonny has a desk in both. So he has a desk in my office,
Mhm.
and he has a desk in hers because he homeschools. And
Oh,
I've got, like, the way I have it angled, my door is straight over there. I've got a TV on the
Mhm.
wall right here, and then his desk is what's behind me with all the stuff that I've got kind of displayed.
Gotcha.
My Voltrons and my Star Trek and my Star Wars.
Nice.
But yeah, like I get a little like, this is it. This is my little bubble for streaming.
I need to do that, man. I need to like fix my camera somehow.
Yeah. Just like to have, you mean like an angle or something?
Yeah, just so it can only see me. Like right now, I
Yeah.
have to adjust, but
Yeah.
I'll
Oh, yeah.
figure all that out
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's an ever evolving thing. That's one thing I've learned with
Yeah.
streaming. I technically started in 2017, but I never really
Mhm.
like was super serious. You know, like to where I did it multiple days in a row. Like I'd pop on every couple weeks or whatever. Um just
Yeah.
kind of for fun. And then, as the years go by, you're like, okay, well, this person has really good video. What camera do they use? What kind of lens are they
Yeah.
using?
Right.
Okay. Wait, what kind of mic is that? Is that a Shure? What Shure is that? And then you start like, so you end up building your whole rig and then you find what works for you and then you find those angles and the gear that makes you look and sound the best and all that stuff. Slippery slope though,
Yeah.
called GAS, gear addiction syndrome, and I have it bad. I have way too much stuff.
I know the feeling, man. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, man. I had to offload some of my stuff because I'm not even using it anymore.
Yep.
But
Pretty sure my wife wished I got rid of a lot of the stuff that I don't use, but I might need it someday.
exactly, exactly. But it's how it
Mm,
is, man.
yeah,
It's how it is, bro.
absolutely.
But man, like just again, like listening to what you gotta say, man, has been very eye opening for anyone. Like, you were
Mm,
sleeping and you didn't
yeah,
know. Like, I was
yeah,
coming home from work and I didn't know. Like,
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
different differences in everyone's struggles. Like,
yeah. Well,
just being to go ahead, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say even to recovery, and how far people can recover and how far people can't recover, and that's one thing that I still have trouble with is, again, feeling valid belonging in this group. Like just feeling like I'm like at all valid to say I'm a stroke survivor. Because sometimes I feel like I'm not, I shouldn't, because I feel bad, that I have more ability than a lot of other people do after a stroke, and it breaks my heart, really, because I don't, it's not fair, So there's, that's a whole mental thing. That's the whole like mental, imposter syndrome. But yeah, just the recovery, everything's different for everyone.
Yeah, that is for sure, man. Like for myself, my recovery has been it's been slow, but
Hmm.
there is progress. Like
Good, good.
before,
Yeah.
I couldn't. Yeah, like before, I could not move my left at all,
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
My arm, my leg, I couldn't do anything. So
Yeah.
little by little, like I
Hmm.
started to put my work into therapy, and
Good.
the first team that I worked with, they really gave me the best, man, because I
Good.
give my
Good.
best. Like
Yep.
I said, I want to get
Good.
out there and just try to
Yeah.
regain what I lost.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
still doing that right now. Like
Hmm.
do my therapy every day. I even go back to the gym now too. Like try
Good
to
for you.
regain my strength.
That's awesome.
My
Yeah.
my yeah, man. Like honestly, I didn't think I would be able to do it at this state, but I
Hmm.
managed to build up enough strength to get myself there and to do my workout and go back home.
Yeah.
It like all the walking I've been doing, all the stretching,
Yeah.
the exercise that my therapist gave me, that
Hmm.
all of that really helped to really get me where I'm at right now. And I'm still doing the same thing because
Hmm.
I really want to progress even more from
Yeah.
where I'm at right now. Like,
Yeah. Absolutely. And you will.
excuse me.
I mean, they told me, I heard the whole like, okay, well, after the first year, that's about as far as you're going to get. And I mean, I luckily in that first year made it very far, but that's not true. Like, I've had things change and get better at year 4, year 5. I mean, the fact that I could even sing in front of people, like, because my voice has gotten better. I have worked on it, right? Like, it's not what it was before, but I've worked on it enough to where I can kind of fake it. But I mean, that's just it. Like,
Fake it till you make it.
exactly. But that's just it. It's not, you can't put limitations on yourself, because once you do that, you are the one that's in your own way. right? If you don't listen
Exactly.
to that, and if you say I'm going to do this or I'm going to do this, dude, do it. Like no one can make you not do it except you.
Yeah,
You're always
exactly.
like you like
You
get out of your own way.
exactly, exactly. You are your own. You are your own. What's that word I'm looking for? You are your own. Oh my God! What?
I do that all
You
the
are your
time.
own stop. You
Okay.
are your own brakes. I guess I could say.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep,
You know,
exactly.
like yeah. So
Hmm.
like, if you only limit yourself to what you're doing now and not try to progress even more, like just to
Hmm.
do even better, like you're
Yeah.
limiting yourself to just what you have now. Like you're
Yeah.
not wanting to
Hmm.
do better. You're
Yeah.
fine where you're at. Like,
Yeah.
and that's not
Yeah.
good because
Yeah.
if you're just stuck there, you're never gonna get better.
You know
You know what I'm
what's
saying? Like,
yeah. It's funny, like you're motivating me because I have a gym and I had a gym membership and I have all these resources and I don't use them. I don't. I should, after a stroke especially, I should take better care of myself. I should, eat healthier, which I have been. It's taken years, but I'm finally doing it. Um, but there are people like you and the people like that I follow on Instagram that literally work their asses off every day, and I know that I should. Like in my head and in my heart, I'm just like, dude, you need to work harder just for everything, right? Because
yep,
who wants to be complacent? But then there's that little part of me that's just like, no, no, we just want to lay down. We just want to sleep. We just want to. I don't. No, that takes energy. No, and it's this internal battle of willpower to just go beyond the normal every day. And
yep,
so I mean, you're inspiring me just with this talk because someone like you who does work and does put that time and that work and that you know like I need to be more like that. I need to be more like you. And I mean that's just it. And I know that, and it's hard to even admit that, but I don't take the time to take care of myself like that. Like I don't put the work in. And that's the hardest thing for me to really get over. It's like that's the biggest hurdle for me is getting out of my own way. Right? And it's not about
yeah,
thinking I can't do it. It's just my body like, no, we're just not going to. Or no, I don't have the energy for that. Or yeah, we could go for a bike ride, but we'll do it later. We'll do it tomorrow. And that's been like
right,
the
right.
story of my life. And that was before the stroke. So it's like a battle of wits. And I lose.
For
The side of
reals.
me that takes better care of myself loses a lot. But I feel like I'm starting to make progress. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll
Just
see.
keep going, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all you can really do is just keep pushing yourself to do the best you can, man. That's
Yeah.
really all you can do.
Yeah.
Or of
Yeah.
course, you'll have your support,
Yeah.
like your son, your wife, like
Oh
they're
yeah.
pushing you like, come on, dad, I know
Yeah.
you can do this, like,
Yeah.
or your wife, come on, honey, I know you can do this.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just giving an example.
No, no, I know.
But like,
Yeah.
like having that support,
Mhm.
that's that kind of support, like will really push you, will really want you to do things like that for yourself, like just to get
Mhm.
better.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I keep telling myself, don't stop, dude.
Mhm.
You don't want this shit for the rest of your life. You know
Mhm.
you want to be better. Like
Yep.
you still have your whole life to live, man.
Mhm.
Don't stop now. Just keep
Mhm.
going.
Yeah. And
Like if you
yeah.
stop now, you're
Mhm.
just gonna be where you're at, and that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah. No, I know. And
So
again,
I
and
keep,
that's why
yeah,
yeah, that's why you're inspiring because I don't think like that as often as I should. And even being lucky enough to have recovered as much as I have, like I don't like I know I am grateful, but I don't think I show it enough and I don't think I put the work in enough to justify coming this far. And then
yeah, yeah,
and that's something that's a me thing. Like that's not a stroke thing. That's not a like that's just a me thing, just me being in my own way, you know. And I was kind of
Mhm.
laughing or smiling earlier because, like, yeah, my son and my wife definitely motivate me, but I will admit, being in a relationship, being married while going through this is a strain. It's hard because you're a different person, you have different needs. No one can understand what you've gone through or what you're going through unless you've gone through it. This isn't one of those things where someone can be like, "Oh yeah, like I remember when I hurt my arm and I couldn't use it and yeah, that sucked." No. No, this
No,
is
it's not the
different.
same.
Yeah, and you have to
Yep.
you can't understand it unless you've been through it. And it's hard. And I mean, relationships and marriage and stuff are hard anyway. You throw on a medical emergency that changes your life, that changes their life, um, changes the life you have together, changes, you know, I've been applying for jobs. No, the job market sucks right now because I'm in tech and I'm in digital media, and both of those are
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of layoffs. So I'm kind of screwed right
No,
now.
I feel that, man. I feel that, man.
But but it's like I when I apply for jobs, they have that question of like, are you or have you ever been disabled? And every time I have to stop and say, I don't know how to answer this, right? Because I'm not disabled officially. There are things that I can't do, but I'm not technically disabled. Or I guess there are things that are harder for me to do now than they were before, but I'm not disabled. But I have been disabled when I was when I was in the hospital and when I was
Mhm.
recovering. Like I couldn't use half my body. Yeah, yeah, I was disabled. Um, but then you also think, okay, but even though they're not really supposed to, are they gonna be like, well, this guy's had some medical issues, so let's go with this other guy instead? If you say yes, right? Or if you say no and then you get the job, do you say, oh, by the way, I had a stroke and I was disabled so and so years ago, so I need special treatment, right? And technically,
Yeah.
legally, they're supposed to do that, but like that makes me feel like a jerk. You know what I mean? For like hiding it.
I hear
So
you,
yeah,
man.
so I've started just putting I decline to answer or I prefer not to answer, just because it's such a again if unless you've been through this and felt this stuff, you would have no idea how to understand the like the little things that are different and
Yep.
the ways that you interact with things in life change, and yeah, it's not easy. It's not,
Nope.
and
Nope.
I feel
It's
bad
not.
because I know my wife, she's, she's a saint. The fact that she's put up with me this long. Um, but especially after, like, before my stroke, we, just like anyone, we'd have our ups and downs. And my thing, most of the frustrations she had with me were from ADHD, but I didn't know I had ADHD until after my stroke.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's kind of had to change our viewpoints. Like, oh, I wasn't just doing it because I was lazy. I was doing it because literally that's what my brain does. So
Yeah.
we've been working on that. Um, but like you throw ADHD on top of you know having being the stroke survivor and like having a part of you. I mean, again, I hate to use such a brutal term, but a part of you dies, and you
Yeah.
have to learn who you are and what you are now. And even with as someone who can walk and who can do what I could do before mostly, um, I'm still different, and the way I handle things is different. The way my medications are different. I can't function the same as I did before, and it's like this forever cycle of getting one step further, but then realizing there's so many more steps to get through.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Like these hurdles for us, they're not easy.
No,
It's not impossible,
no, no, not
but
at
it's
all.
not easy.
Nope.
But it is not easy. That's for damn sure, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I learned that like
Hmm.
firsthand in the very beginning, man. I
Hmm.
knew I knew that this recovery journey of mine will be tough as shit, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? I
Hmm.
For me, I'm a very stubborn person.
I love that.
Like okay, so I'll give you an example. Like my stubbornness comes from playing very hard video games.
Nice. I can dig
As a 90,
it.
yeah, so like, I grew up, having an Atari, having a Nintendo, right?
Yeah, me too.
And back then, you couldn't save a game. You had to play it or you
Oh,
lost or you
oh,
died or
yeah.
whatever.
I remember.
So exactly, so having to do it over and over and over again until you get it right.
Yep. Yep.
That's me right there.
And
That's
then, yeah,
literally me right there. I won't stop till I get it.
I don't care if my mom says I got to stop playing and go to bed. I'm not stopping. I will lose everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's funny. The first game I ever fully beat, was Super Mario Brothers 3 on the Nintendo. And that that was my jam back then. I was like, I don't know if I feel like this movie wasn't as popular as it could have been, but there was this movie called The Wizard, and what's his name? The guy from Wonder Years, Fred Savage, played this kid
Yeah, yeah.
that basically like won these video game tournaments or whatever, and he
Oh
basically
yeah.
yeah, and then he basically got to unveil Super Mario 3, and that was like one of his big things, is he got to go on stage or whatever or he was a part of like Nintendo's, he was the first one to ever play it or whatever. And I remember
Yeah.
I was like, Mario 3, okay, it's calling me. I need Mario 3. So I got Mario 3, and this was the first game I ever beat, and I was addicted.
Nice, nice. I mean, it is a fun game for sure,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Like regardless how you play it.
Hmm.
But man, like
Definitely.
honestly, that's how I've been treating this recovery of mine. Like
Good.
I'm hard. I am personally for me. I
Hmm.
am my hardest critic. Like I
Yeah.
criticize myself the hardest. Like, and
Hmm.
it's because of like growing up. Like
Yeah.
you grow up. Your parents are there to tell you what's wrong and what's right. Of
Hmm.
course, you growing up, you will learn from your own mistakes.
Yeah.
So because of that, like
Hmm.
my dad especially, my dad is the hardest critic I've ever had in my life, and because of that,
Hmm.
that's how I am.
Hmm. That's
I
good.
it's a bad habit of mine, but
Is it? Yeah.
it only helped me, proceed forward, like
Yeah.
move up.
Well, is it
If I
bad?
keep
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
think I
go
don't
go
think
ahead.
so. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But honestly for me, like that's how I've always been. Like be hard on myself, do
Hmm.
good,
Yeah.
keep going. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
that's how I've been this whole journey of mine.
That's
That's how
awesome.
I've been. And
That's cool.
yeah, like I won't stop. I will not stop until I regain what I lost, and
Good.
I will keep going to get it. Now
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop, man. I don't want to
Yeah.
stop, you
I
know?
love it. I love that. I
Yeah.
again, like people like you and people like you are very um what's the word? They're people like you look up to. Like you're like, man, they work their asses off, and like I need to do better. I need to be better. Like there are people that give you a little like fire under your ass, and they're like, okay, look what they're going through and what they've had to go through and what they're doing every day and the work they're putting in, and then look at what you're doing, right? And you're not supposed to compare yourselves, but you see someone like you working so hard that you're just like, man, that's where it's at. Like I need to be more like that. I need to work harder. I need to put more time in. I need to be better about this or better about this. Because sometimes, like, I didn't have parents that taught me right or wrong. I actually had the opposite. So obviously, my dad and my stepdad passed away, but growing up, my stepdad wasn't the nicest. Um, and then also, uh, after he died, basically I grew up in a home with a drug addict as a parent. She essentially kind of gave up and was just not really there for most of my teenage years. So I didn't have any of that. I had to learn it myself, and I'm still learning. Um, and I don't know why, but I feel like that it's not. that I want to like I don't want to have a reason to blame other people for stuff. And I don't blame other people for who I am because I choose to be who I am. But I think that I gave up so early in my life because I gave up. I didn't graduate. I didn't graduate high school on time. I didn't even show up to high school. I was probably there maybe a quarter of the time. I cut every day. I slept. I was depressed. I felt hopeless, and I slept, and I gave up. And I think that I wouldn't say I'm a quitter, but I will say that since back then, I've learned that you put in just enough to not be disappointed, right? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of where I got. Like um I'll work and I'll do the work just enough to where I won't be disappointed because if I put in more work or if I do this even harder or this and it doesn't work out or something happens, right? Like because, mind you, when I was growing up, I didn't have control of my own life. I lived in a an unsafe home. I lived in a, what's that word? They call it food insecure or something like that, where you like, didn't really
Yeah.
know what was going on for lunch and dinner type stuff. I had a brother and a sister
Yeah.
that I basically had to make sure were okay, even though I wasn't. Um, and just going through that stuff, it changed me, and it unfortunately it it took it kind of tamed or put water on the fire that I had, and my whole life I've been trying to reignite it. So, it's empowering to see and hear people that work so hard like you, um, and the people that do put the work in. And that's why I say I know that I can do better, and I know I should do better, and I know that that's what I should be doing as well. Um, but I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, if that makes sense, because I never learned
Yeah. Yeah. Of
when I was a
course.
kid.
Oh,
So,
that.
and I don't mean to
Of
get so
course. Of
deep or
course.
so personal, but there are reasons that we react the way that we react, or we um, push or don't push for certain things, right? And I think that's something that's important, especially with like podcasts and talking to people and bringing awareness, is that everyone's wired differently. Like not
Hmm.
just scientifically, like ADHD versus neurotypical, but you've
Yeah.
got life experience creates like your dad, right? Your dad helped you make that fire burn to the point where that fire is like burning so hot that you wish it didn't burn so hot sometimes, right? Like you're just like, I'm so stubborn. I wish I wasn't so stubborn, And then there are people like me who barely have a little flicker, right? And I'm trying to get my fire back. Um, but your life experiences create who you are, and they create the person that can either do or not do or choose to be numb or not try, right? um
Mhm.
so I think that's just it. Like, just everyone's different. There's so many different facets of life, and every person has so many different experiences that it's easy for people to judge, and it's easy for people to look down. It's easy for people to, from it's like the keyboard warrior stuff on the internet. People talk smack all day. Like the troll I
Oh my
had,
god.
the
Yeah.
troll I had in here in Twitch. Like, dude thinks that I care what he thinks, right? Or that, like, it's easy when it's not a face. If it was face to face, it'd be a whole different story.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
even though, not it would have been a whole different story before my stroke, but now I have more limitations. But um, I yeah, it's just, yeah, people are quick to talk smack or to be negative because there's no
Yep.
accountability. But
Yep.
you know, all I'm saying is I wish there was more empathy in the world because people go through stuff whether you know it or not. Every person has something they're fighting, and it's so easy for people to just brush it off or to not care. And that sucks because, like I said
Yeah.
earlier, people need people. Like I need people. I have a friend group that's like my foundation. Obviously, my home and my wife and my son, but also, you need people outside of the house. You need people outside of the family that also help you um, feel like existing. So
No, for real, no, you're right. You are totally right, man. Like, honestly, before I felt like I was just there. Like, after
yeah,
my stroke, I just felt like I was just there. Like,
yeah,
I'm not me, but I'm just there. Like,
yeah,
what the hell, man? Like,
yeah.
what happened to the Matt that we all knew? Like, the loud, funny, obnoxious guy. What the fuck is that guy? Like,
No,
oh,
no way. I couldn't imagine that you were like that.
you know, yeah. Like, it was hard for me to explain. Like,
Yeah,
I couldn't tell people I'm not me no more.
yeah,
It
yeah.
hurt. It hurt me so much to tell people that I'm no longer the same Matt you guys remember.
Hmm.
I am somebody completely new.
Absolutely.
And it's hard for people to accept that because
Hmm.
they look at you and they're like, this guy really? Like, he
Hmm.
had a stroke, he lost half his body. Like, wow, like, and you're still here, like, wow, like,
Hmm.
how are you doing this? And don't you feel sad that you're not you no more? I'm like, of course I'm sad about that shit. Like,
Yeah,
who wouldn't be?
absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like people just don't get it
Hmm.
until it happens to them,
Yeah.
and that's one
Hmm.
thing I will never ever wish.
Oh
Even
yeah,
on my enemies, I will never wish that
100%.
to anyone, man. Like
Yep. Same.
that shit sucks. It
Hmm.
sucks
It does.
big time.
It's not. Yeah. I don't, yeah. I don't care how much I hate someone. I would never wish this on anyone. Um.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. It's your personality changes, your body changes, your entire
Your
life
mindset.
changes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Everything changes about you, like,
Hmm.
and it sucks because like you didn't wish for this.
Nope.
You never wished for any of this,
You
but it
didn't.
happened.
Yep.
All we can do is just learn to adapt.
Yeah.
Learn to accept what happened to you and try to do your best to
Hmm.
change it around.
Yeah.
Like most of us stroke survivors, like especially of all of us in the group, like
Hmm.
we all have our own journeys that we're dealing with.
Hmm.
Of
Yep.
course, sometimes there will be a moment in time where we feel like we're gonna fall because
Hmm.
we're tired or we just don't have the right support that we need to keep going. So
Yeah.
we end up falling because of that,
Hmm.
you know.
Correct. Yeah.
But having this group, like honestly, like I feel like I'm a part of something. Like what you said earlier, like I'm a part of something now that
Hmm.
with people that I can relate with because they've been through the same thing too. Like
Yeah. Yep.
and I'm very happy that I have that now though.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure that I can't speak for them, but I'm pretty sure a lot of them are very happy that they found a safe space that we can
Hmm.
talk about our experiences on how this happened. And,
Yeah.
you know, like for myself, I'm very open about my whole life. Like, my stream knows about everything about me, like, even
Yeah.
from my stroke,
Yep.
my personal life, all that
Hmm.
shit. Everyone
Yeah.
knows about me now. Like,
Yeah.
now they haven't seen me like this, and they're just like,
Yep.
wow, what a life changing event you just been through, but yet
Hmm.
you're still here.
Yeah.
Like it to
Yeah.
me, like it
Hmm.
feels good to
Yeah.
still be here
Oh
living,
yeah.
like
Absolutely.
even like, even though I'm only half bodied right now, I'm
Hmm.
still here.
Yeah.
That's the biggest part. I'm still alive. I'm still
Yep.
breathing. I'm still living with you guys.
Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
For me, yeah. And this whole journey, like it opens your eyes to really realize like holy shit, man, like we've
Hmm.
been through something rough, but here we are really owning it, like we're really putting in all the work to really get back what we lost.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I tell you, man, I've there's been so many times where I've broken down and cried because I didn't have the strength to keep pushing
Sometimes you have to.
until yeah, exactly, like
Sometimes you
we
have to
have
break
to
down. Yeah.
we can't just keep going and neglect our feelings
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
if we do that, we never know. We could become destructive,
Yeah.
and that
Absolutely.
shit is scary, man. That's
Oh yeah.
scary. Like,
Oh, I've been there too. Trust me. Yeah.
yeah, oh
Me.
yeah, man. Like, it's not. It's not a good spot to be
No.
in, man, at all.
I'm a huge advocate for therapy and for, people getting help when they need it, and not trying to be tough, so tough that I don't need that. Nah, dude.
Exactly,
If you're going
exactly.
through something, you need to see someone. And I've done counseling with my wife. I've done counseling by myself. Um, again, I've been on medication pretty much my whole life. Um, it's mental mental health support. Here's that mental health awareness. Mental health support's
Yep.
important. Like, you have to take care of yourself. Your mental and emotional health are just as important as your physical health, and a
Yep.
lot of people don't understand that.
Very, very true, man. They neglect that, and they're just like, I'll shake it off, whatever.
Yeah.
They come back to it, they're like, what the
Mhm.
fuck? Why do I feel
Yep.
like shit? Like,
Mhm.
what
Yep.
the hell?
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That's how you're right. Like, this stuff is important too. Like, you
Mhm.
gotta take care of yourself, both mental and
Mhm.
physical.
Yeah. And I can't. I personally can't do that on my own, and I know I can't. Which is why I have help and I get help. Um, but yeah, it's a trip, man. Just the whole thing. Oh, and I was gonna say too about changing right after you have a stroke. I don't know
Yeah,
how
yeah.
you how it's happened with you, and I apologize. I'm on this new medication makes my mouth super dry, so I feel like I'm making weird mouth sounds. I apologize. Um,
You're good. You are
but
good, man.
people treat you like, when I've noticed that, especially with me, since it's invisible. Like, you wouldn't know by looking at me that I've had a stroke. Um, People treat me the same and expect the same, and then are either irritated or um, like frustrated that I can't do the same. Like, I that's, it kind of goes back to the whole, like, I wish, like, there's a part of me is like, I wish it was worse, so people would, like, understand that I'm different. Like, I'm not like I was before, like, because you can't see
Mm.
it. So, you know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
people just expect me to be the same, and I'm not. And that's been really hard for me, actually. And there are expectations that people have of you as a person, as you've grown up or as you've lived before your stroke. And a
Mm.
lot of times people don't understand the changes that brings. And then they
Yep.
treat you like, mind you, when someone goes through something, a lot of us are like, I don't want to be treated any different, which I don't. But that doesn't mean that I don't have limitations. New
Yep.
limitations that I didn't have before. And that's hard
Mm.
because not a lot of people can grasp that. Um, so it's just, again, this 5.5 years, and I'm still learning.
No, I feel it, man. I totally feel where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, for myself, like, one thing, okay, couple of things about me after my stroke. Like,
Hmm.
one thing, I cannot do big crowds no more. I can't do big parties. I cannot be
Hmm.
around a big group of people. I cannot do that no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowadays, like, I can only handle like a small group of, or like a small party. Like,
Yeah.
I cannot be somewhere where it's so loud,
Yeah.
so much light, so much noise. I cannot
Yeah.
handle that no more.
Hmm. Yeah.
The one the one thing that really annoys the hell out of me about my stroke
Yeah.
is that when people see me,
Hmm.
they automatically go, "Do you need help? Do you need help? Do you need me to get this for you? Do you need me to get this for
Yep.
you?" Like,
Hmm.
I get that you want to help.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But if I can walk on my own,
Hmm.
like, you see me not gonna fall,
Hmm.
let me be. Let me
Yeah.
walk.
Yeah.
Like, I remember
Hmm.
I went to my cousin's 18th birthday.
Hmm.
Family were all crowding me, like, asking me if I needed something or they wanted me to get something.
Hmm.
It was just too much. It was just way too much. Like,
Yeah.
that's why for me, like, if I go out, my social battery has to be fully charged for me to go out.
Hmm.
And after that experience, I was just like, okay, I don't want to go out no more. I want to stay at home. I feel safe at home. But
Yeah.
nowadays, like this year, like, I start to go out a little bit here and
Yeah.
there, like,
Yeah.
trying to really build up my social battery to deal with people.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's gotten better,
yeah.
but still not. It's not all the way there.
And we're always working, right? We're always,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
It's funny, and I was smiling because I actually did the same thing. So before the stroke, I would like you could drop me in a room of 100 people and I'd go home with like 20 phone numbers and plans for the next weekend. Like I loved
Yeah,
being in big groups, meeting new people, having a good time, having drinks or like, just that whole like the socializing thing. Like I was
exactly.
very much a socializer. And very extroverted. And then I had my stroke and then COVID happened and now I don't even like leaving the house. And I don't know if
Fully
that's the stroke.
unrelatable, man.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a stroke. I don't know if that's just just life now after COVID. But I'm not an extrovert like I was before, and that's kind of a trip. And people again expect me to be the same that I was, and I'm not. Like
Yep, yep.
one of my best friends just moved to Alabama, and he was coming into town. And he was like, "Oh, let's get the boys together." And I was like, "Yeah, no, you guys have fun." I just texted him. I was like, "I'm not
I
gonna."
feel that, man.
Like right off the bat, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna be there." And he was like, "I didn't even tell you like when." And I was like, "No, just I'm just telling you right now, I'm not gonna be there." He's like, "Okay, whatever." But
Oh man,
but it's
I
like,
totally understand that.
yeah, but that's just it. Like sometimes my body and my brain are just like, no, we're not doing shit. We're gonna stay home, and that is all we want to do ever. And now
Yep.
it's starting to get to the point like where I'm like streaming more. Like this week after this new medication, I've streamed 3 times this week. That's like a record for me.
Nice.
Yeah, and then
That's nice.
and I've got plans to like visit friends and plans to like I'm catching up with an old friend of mine. I grew up in Indiana, and one of my oldest friends actually lives in Washington, and
Mhm.
we haven't talked in a while, and we've been like talking about working together and doing stuff together, like content creation wise and stuff for like years.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're like finally going to get together and talk, and I'm finding myself, especially with this new medication, starting to feel like I'm breaking out of my shell. Um, and that's exciting, but also terrifying because I'm kind of comfortable where I'm at now. I've become
No, no, I
comfortable.
don't blame you,
Yeah,
man.
I've become comfortable being an introvert. I'm like, do I have to leave the house? Nah, you just call me, or text me. I don't need to leave. Here, we'll Zoom, Discord. We're good. I'm not leaving the house.
No, I'm right there with you, man. I know exactly what you mean, man. Like, I don't want to do shit. I don't want to
Nope.
go nowhere. I just want to be at home, man. Leave me
Yep.
alone.
And I told my wife that I was like, because she'd be like, "Hey, let's go for a walk," or "Hey, let's this," or "Hey, let's that," and I'm just like, mm, "Do we have to?" And I kind of had to tell her like, "Hey, my body automatically says no to every single thing you want to do. Like as far as like going out, right? Like my
Mhm.
body and my brain literally say no before you even ask or say, "Hey, do you want to do this?" or "We should do this." My brain's already said no. And I have to overcome that just to basically take that initiative to go, right? To go on a walk or to
Yep.
go do something with my family. Because it's easy for me to sit here and play video games with my son, right? We're home, we're playing games, we're having fun, we're doing the stuff we love. I'm
Mhm.
good, right? But there's more to life than just what's in here. And my brain, most of the time, does not want any part of it.
No,
So,
for real. No, I
yeah.
know what you mean, man.
So it's, and I was like, I don't want to like offend you or like be mean, but my brain says no before you even ask. I don't want to like I don't want to do anything, but I will do this with you. Just know that I have to put in extra work to do this because my body really doesn't want to.
Yeah, for real, man. Like, we just don't have that kind of energy we used to
Yeah.
have before.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
Yep.
the same.
Oh, not even close. Yeah, I
Yep,
know.
exactly, exactly.
It's crazy. I appreciate you, man. I just got to say that.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here, man. And
Yeah.
you're awesome, dude. Like, It's actually really nice to find someone who actually lives in the same area as you that you can completely relate
Oh
to. You know,
yeah,
like when you told me, I was like,
dude, I was
"You're
like the
from the day
Bay.
too." Oh, yeah.
Let's go. I know. I love that because it's like because that kind not that I'm gonna do it because it would mean leaving the house, but that means that theoretically we could hang out, and that's exciting if I ever want to leave the house.
Exactly. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean on that, dude. Like,
Because you know, you
and that's understandable. It's understandable, man.
yeah, yeah. It's just it's a you meet so many people online now because that's the way the world works. So when you find someone that's
Yeah.
kind of like local, like there are a couple streamers that are like partner streamers that I follow that I I'm like in their chat all the time and we conversate and we've actually chatted on Discord and we've kind of gotten past just the like viewer streamer thing and become
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of friends. And then I find out a couple of them live like in the area and I'm just like, come on, are you kidding me? Like you're like 10 minutes from me. How have I not known this for the
Wow.
last 7 years or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that
For
it
reals,
it
man.
kind of takes the person and just kind of bumps them up your list. Like I knew you were awesome, but now you're even more awesome because you're local.
For reals, right? That's the best part, man. I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude, I finally found someone.
Yep.
It's a great feeling too. It's a great feeling too because we can both, relate to each other
Yep.
on so many levels. Though we both have
Yeah.
stroke. We're both streamers. We
Mhm.
both used to be extroverts. We play
Mhm.
games. They're like
Yep.
we have so many things in common.
I know.
I love
Yeah.
to welcome in.
I
But
love
yeah,
it.
man, it's been very awesome. Just hearing your story, and I'm just like. I'm so glad I really started this because,
Me too.
again, no one knows what to look for. No one knows what to pay attention to.
Yep. Yeah.
And, just others hearing our story gives them an idea like, okay, these guys went through this. Okay, so
Mhm.
we got to
Mhm.
make sure, we got to look out for this. Like
Yeah.
when I knew when I was having my stroke, I had no idea. I lost my balance.
Yep.
I lost a bit of my eyesight.
Okay.
My left side went numb, and I'm just like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah. Right. No, I
And then
yeah.
yeah, and then the EMT picked me up, and they're like, you just had a stroke, but please stay calm.
You're like, how am I
Literally
supposed to
because
stay calm right now? No, I'm just
right,
kidding.
exactly. Exactly. Like they told me, like they literally told me to stay calm because they don't want my blood pressure to go up.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
literally the things that they'll tell you, you gotta listen to it because
yeah.
if you start freaking out, that's when things can really go bad. Turn for the
Absolutely,
worst.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always,
And
yeah. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh well, I had to pull it up on the internet just to make sure I didn't get it wrong, because ever since my stroke, my memory is like I can't remember words when I'm trying to say them a lot, and then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get things mixed up sometimes. But fast, right? Like you say things to
Yep.
look
Be
out for,
fast.
right?
Yep.
So face, arm, speech, time. I had to look that up. And if someone's having
Yep.
issues with the one or all four of those, you got to call an ambulance, bro. You got to get
Right
looked
away.
at
Right
right away.
away.
Cuz and that's another thing too as far as awareness. What's the window? The window's like 4 hours from your stroke where they can give you that medicine.
3 I
3?
believe 3 hours. It's
So
three
yeah,
hours.
there's a medicine that they can give you to help break up your like stroke clots or whatever's going on. I
Yep,
didn't
yep,
get
yep.
that. I actually I would because it happened overnight and I'm not sure when. I didn't get that. So I didn't get to I wasn't there in time. But if you're within a certain window, like 3 hours, you have a better chance of being able to recover further. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
they're like so again, you say it's important. It's very important to to be very very aware of what's going on. Um,
Yep.
Also, I mean, it's not even just those. I remember. Well, okay. Example: my right eye is numb. Right, I told you that. Like I can't. I could literally push it in. I can't feel anything.
Mhm.
But my muscles work. It's fine. But when I'm sleeping, I don't feel it if it's open. Right. Like let's say I'm laying on my stomach and I've like pushed up against the pillow and my eyes open while I'm sleeping. Right. I've woken up with blurriness in my eye, to where like the whole like I for days it's blurry, right? And they
Hmm.
told me when I first had my stroke that sight issues can be a thing, especially on the side that I had it. So the first time that
Yeah.
I had that where I couldn't see, I went to the ER and I was like, oh god, no, not another one. Oh man, oh man, oh man, and I was stressed out. And then they were like, no, you know you don't have a stroke, and they bring in an optician or whoever the eye people are, and
Yeah.
she looked at me and she goes, "You don't feel that?" And I was like, "Feel what?" And she was like, "You have a scratch on your eye that's the size of an eraser." I was like, "Really?" She was like, "I can't believe you can't feel that." And I was like, "No." And it was literally right in the center of my vision. And she was just
Oh
like,
wow.
"If you had," what'd she say? She said something like, "If you had um, feeling in your eye, you would be in so much pain now you wouldn't be able to walk."
Oh
And I was like, "What?"
wow.
And she's like, "Yeah, you didn't have a stroke. You scratched your eye and didn't know it." And I had to see her for like 6 months or a year after that, just because she had to give me gel to put in my eye because my eye wouldn't tear up properly, so it was overly dry all the
Oh
time.
wow.
She had TMI. I apologize. Apparently, I learned this. If your tear ducts aren't working, they can plug them with these big long rubber things. So she stuffed two big long rubber things, like rubber stopper things, in my tear
Yeah.
ducts. I didn't feel a thing. And then I had to use like gel on my eye, and I could literally wipe it on my eye. I didn't feel it. I just, you know, which is a
Wow.
trip in itself. But but that's another thing to be aware of is sight, sight issues.
Yep.
If because you can, I have actually a friend of mine, an old roommate from when I was like in my like when I was like 19. I mean, I've known the guy for over 20, 25 years. Um,
Hmm.
he called me and he was just like, "Hey, you had a stroke, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I just had one too." And I was like, "What?" And he's like 4 years older than me, maybe. And
Mm.
he was like, "Yeah, apparently I have like a some kind of defect in his heart, like some kind of there's something about like a flap in his heart or something happened where it caused a stroke." And his was in his eyes. He said he couldn't see, and that there was something wrong, so he went to the hospital and found out that he had had a stroke, and it affected his eyesight. So he ended up having to have heart surgery because of it. But I mean, that's another thing is, whenever your eyesight gets weird, take it seriously. Just
Yep.
because,
Big time.
yeah, like you wouldn't think that your eyesight being weird would be
Hmm.
something to worry about, right? Like, oh, whatever,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's blurry, no big deal, it'll be fine, you know. But if you really have to take it seriously because it could be something so much worse, and you would rather know just in case than not know and find out the hard way later, you know.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly.
so yeah, your eyes and your eyesight you got to really pay attention to too.
Yep. Yeah, big time. Also, your speech as well,
Oh
because
yeah,
like if you start slurring, you're like, yo, what the fuck's going on with my face? Like, why is this
yeah.
whole number? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
call right away, man.
Oh,
Call right away. Don't
absolutely.
stop. Don't
Nope.
just
Absolutely.
call.
Yeah. I had so again, I told you I had Bell's palsy when I was like a teenager. No, I was in my early
Yeah.
20s and I had Bell's palsy. And that is where half your face goes numb. And I had a
Hmm.
droopy eye and half my face was numb. And and I remember, like being grateful that it wasn't a stroke, but learning about what Bell's palsy is. And even if it's just your face where it could be Bell's palsy, you still need to find out. Like you still need to go to the hospital and make sure that it's not something worse, because Bell's palsy is,
Yeah.
is more common than I realized. And it can happen more than once, but you don't want to find out the hard way that it was a stroke instead of Bell's palsy. So,
Yeah.
your face,
Exactly.
like half your body, right? Face, eyes, speech, walking, like all of it. It's a big list when you think about it.
Oh yeah, big time, man. Yeah, it is a big list, bro. Like we're just like, yo, we lost this, we lost this, we lost
Yeah,
this, we
yeah,
lost this. Just like,
yeah.
okay. this is it. I'm not sure if anyone has ever used this analogy except for me, but
Okay.
the way I see a stroke,
Yeah.
the part that you lost, think of it like a DLC,
Ah, okay. I like it so far.
right? Like
Yeah,
think about it. You want to unlock this, you have to unlock. You have to get the DLC. In my case,
yeah.
I have to get the DLC for my left side.
That
And that's how I see it.
that's a fun way to look at it. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Yeah.
that for someone who enjoys video games, that's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, like I
I
just
love
thought
that.
of it. I was like, bro, my left side is a fucking DLC, man. Do I
I,
have to pay money or
I
what?
don't have the money
No,
for it
no.
yet.
You can't spend money. You have to
Oh,
spend time to get
yeah.
this.
You're like, fine, because I'm stubborn. Man.
even even Kira says I'm still missing a few DLCs.
Yeah, well,
It's true, like
yeah. I think my wife would probably say that I started missing DLCs way before my stroke. Because
yeah,
I've been messed up for pretty much my whole life. The stroke just kind of added to it. It's what makes me,
yeah,
what is it? What makes me me, I guess. I don't know. I was going somewhere with
exactly,
that and I lost it.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
I do apologize. I didn't realize
no,
time
no.
kind of flew. I have to be
I know,
somewhere.
right?
Yeah, I have to be somewhere in about a half hour. So I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
kind of cut things short for me. Um,
Hey, you are good. You are good,
okay,
man.
but
And honestly,
yeah,
I think we covered a whole lot already. I believe, but
good. Okay,
honestly, just hearing, just listening to you talk about your experiences has been amazing, man. Like, we've been going on for about 2 hours now. I really feel like this has been a, a successful, another podcast because
yeah,
we're here talking about our experiences, letting people hear what we've gone through, and it can be empowering because people don't know what to look for, but now they
yeah,
do.
absolutely. Well, and it can be empowering too because again, we talked about community, right? And people needing people. I'm now in a
Exactly.
group that understands when I say I'm going through something, you all can actually understand what I mean. And that's not something, and that's
Exactly.
something that not a lot of people can say. So, it's like I'm super appreciative of you guys and of this. Like I really am excited. What episode is this? Like how many episodes? This is the
Number two.
second.
This is number two. The
Man,
second one.
you're on to something. You're on to something big, man. Keep it up. I love it.
I'm really hoping, man. I'm really hoping that this goes into something big, man. I really
Yeah.
hope.
Hey, and like I said, the internet's forever. So even if we don't see how big it gets, you never know what's going to happen in 100 years,
It'll still be
right?
there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like things never
Yeah. Hell
leave.
yeah.
You can never leave.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right.
Well, Jay,
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you taking the time to actually share your story with us here on Second Chance Wars, man. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like, I'm really happy I got a chance to actually talk to you face to well,
Kind of.
camera to
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, I really appreciate you taking the time to be
Yeah.
here with us, man. I would
Yeah.
thank you so much, bro.
I'm happy to do it, and I appreciate you. And as always, if you guys need anything, you know where to find me in Discord.
Oh yeah,
All
man.
right.
More repo for sure, man.
Oh hell yeah, that game is crazy fun.
It is. It really is, man. But
All
anyways,
right.
Jay, I
Yep.
don't want to take up any more of your time. So I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll catch each other again, man.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your time. Look forward to hanging soon. Take care,
Oh yeah,
everyone.
man. All right. Take
Bye.
care, man. See ya.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for being here with me while I streamed that podcast recording for the stream, The Stroke Survivors. I saw you, Benzo 2013, over on Twitch. I apologize. It took so long to get back to you. I was trying to focus on the podcast and not talk to chat at the same time so they get a good recording. You know what I mean? But I saw you, and I appreciate you being here. Um, all of you, whoever is here, I have no idea because I haven't really been paying attention. Thanks so much for joining, and I hope you've learned something, from this, or in some way, now what to look out for, and also what what people go through when they've had a stroke. Everyone's experience is different, but at the end of the day, we all change, and we all have new struggles and new realities that we have to accept. And sometimes it's hard for family and friends to really understand. So, again, I appreciate you guys being here, and everyone have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you later.